The Wizard of Oz Ruby Slippers Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi everyone! In today's video I'm going to be making a design that's for the Wizard of Oz, and this design was specifically for Angel, who is the Wizard of Oz's #1 fan. And this was a commissioned nail, and so if you are interested in doing that for any design, you can let me know and we can get started and we can work together to realize your vision. Otherwise, this design is a lot of fun. It is probably one of the more difficult things that I've ever done, which was exciting. It's always fun to challenge yourself. So I had fun. I hope you enjoy watching it, and don't forget to click subscribe to see my future videos as well. So I accidentally forgot, I recorded the beginning part, I just deleted them, which was my own stupidity, but things happen. So the first thing I did was I created an overlay with yellow acrylic, and then I did a clear overlay over the top of that. That's going to give a little bit of a distance appearance between the base and these bricks, which is very helpful in making it look like it is supposed to look. And then I filed it and buffed it, and now I'm sculpting out my bricks. And so I started in the middle and I worked my way out, and I just sculpted a single brick. And then you're going to want to sculpt a brick and then move to a different section of the nail, and just keep doing that and moving from spot to spot so that you can fix up your bricks like I'm doing now and run my brush along them without ruining a brick that is next to it. So you want to make sure that you are sculpting one that is next to two that are completely hardened. And so I'm just going to be filling it in and trying to keep them all about the same size. They don't have to be perfect, but you know, close is good. And just filling in all those little gaps. And when you're doing this, I don't know if you are familiar with the way bricks are, but you want to make sure that the brick below the one, so that you want them to be staggered. So there should be a crack and then a brick and then a crack and then a brick. If you're looking from top to bottom, they should vary in location. And I'm going to apply matte top coat over my bricks and set that aside for a while. I'm going to be forming the shape of the sole of the shoe. So it's got kind of a upward slope. So I'm going to be sculpting that with polymer clay. And then after I've got that in place, it doesn't matter what color your clay is at all. So I've got that kind of shape. I'm going to place that on a piece of plastic wrap, fold the plastic wrap over so that it is completely covered. And then I'm going to be sculpting out the base of the shoe with clear acrylic. And so I'm just going to add the clear acrylic down there, and it's going to possibly try to run all over the plastic wrap, since the plastic wrap is really slippery. So you might have to kind of press in the sides to make sure it all stays into place. And this doesn't have to be perfect by any means, because there's going to be a lot more happening. After it's dried, I'm going to peel it off the plastic wrap and then set the toe of the shoe on a nail file just so that it has the right kind of angle on it. And now I'm going to be sculpting my heel, so I'm going to place a bead of red acrylic down. And then I'm going to be placing another bead of red acrylic down on top of the first one. And I'm trying to hold it with the tweezers, but that first layer of that clear is potato chip thin, and so it's kind of fragile, so you just want to be careful and not put too much pressure on it. So I'm sculpting the heel going directly up, and so I did 2 beads, and then I thought that was pretty good for the beginning. So now after that's set, I'm going to hold it with my tweezers, and I'm going to sculpt the surface of the shoe. So I'm going to begin with just a layer of red over the top of that clear sole. And so I'm just going to add that on there, and it's a little bit thick just because, well, you want to make sure that your shoes don't break. And so after I've got that beginning layer in place, and as you can see, the edges aren't perfect, it does not have to be smooth and fabulous at this particular moment. Now I'm going to add another bead to the toe of the shoe, and then I'm going to slowly start bringing it up and out. So I'm going to push the brush into the center and then bring it out so that you start working on the edges of the shoe. Just like that, and forming the shape of the toe. And then I'm going to place another larger bead towards the heel. And then I'm going to do the same thing, working on forming it. And as it sets, it's going to be easier to work with. And then my camera went dead, and so I lost a little bit of footage there. Clearly it was a bad camera moment for me. But then I'm going to be just continuing to build up the side. So I'm going to place a bead down and then press it from side to side, back and forth, until it has set into the right shape. And like I said, if it doesn't exactly set into the right shape, there's always opportunities to file and refine it and make it nice and pretty later on. But I'm just going to keep adding beads back and forth, around and on it, all over the place, like that. And yeah, this part is very time consuming, and it's not the easiest thing that I've ever done, as I mentioned in the beginning. You have to make sure that you have a bulk of time, that you are prepared to work on it, and that you're using very small beads and working in sections. And even if it doesn't look right at one point, don't give up on it, because there was a couple moments in here I'm thinking, oh dear, this is not going to turn out, and yet I'm pretty happy with the outcome, so just keep working on it. And now I'm going to take a very small drill bit, and I'm going, or not drill, e-file bit, and I'm going to be filing my shoe. And so I'm going to file the inside of it, making sure that I'm thinning out the edges of it and the part that would wrap around your foot. And then I'm going to be filing the rest of it as well. And periodically I'm going to take just a little brush and I'm going to dust it, just so that I can see what I'm doing and what needs to be done. And just keep on filing. And this is the point where you really get to see the shoe take place. And then with a hand file, I'm going to file the top of the shoe just to really get that surface nice and straight. And now I'm going to be fixing up the heel. The heel before wasn't done, it was just a start so that I knew it, well, in part was a handle, which is nice. And also it helps you get an idea of what the shape of the shoe needs to be if you have an idea of what the shape of the shoe is. So you can set it up on a table and see how the heel fits and make sure that everything has the right angle on it. And now I'm just going to be thickening up the base of the heel and attaching it and smoothing it out to the shoe. And then I'm going to fill in my shoe with some blue acrylic. And so this is a really pale blue, and I'm going to fill in that hole that we created where the foot would be. And this is going to be for Dorothea's sock. And try to give it a nice rounded shape. It's not, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, try to keep it foot shaped. And then at the base where the heel and ankle would be, I'm going to poke the center of my brush in and then sort of make a hole out of it. And then I'm going to add another piece or another bead of blue acrylic inside the hole, let that set for a second, and then push and build it up. And then just keep building up the sock, the cuff of the sock, until it has the height that you're going for. Once again, I'm going to be filing this so it does not have to be perfect. So I'm going to add another bead inside because it wasn't quite tall enough. And then I'm going to let that set for a little bit and then push it up and out again. Smooth out the edges, add a little more acrylic. And then I'm going to file my sock, so I'm pretty much going to file just the inside of it, a little bit around the outside if I need to, but just take that really nice little cylindrical bit and just go in the center. And then file the top of the sock with my hand file. And now I'm going to be painting over my shoe with a very, very glittery, what I did is I put red glitter into a tack-free top coat. And so I'm going to just apply that on there. That way I don't have to wipe it off, and it's already nice and non-sticky when I take it out of my lamp. So I'm going to paint the top of the shoe with that, and then I'm going to stick that in my lamp, and then after it's cured I'm going to take it out and I'm going to do the bottom of the shoe. This way both sides cure really nice and completely, and there's going to be no sticky spots left over, and the whole shoe is nice and glittery. I'm going to be making a bow, so I'm going to take on a nail form backing, and then I'm just going to add a red bead and then push it in from the sides like that until it has a nice little bow shape. And then I'm going to be painting that with that same gel sealer glitter combo, gluing it onto the toe of the shoe. And then I'm going to figure out the placement for the shoe on the nail, and then place some little drops of nail glue on there and hold it in place until the glue has set. Doesn't take too long. And then I'm going to do the same for the other toe or shoe, figure out where it goes, put some glue just on the toe for this one since her heel is going to be in the air, and hold that in place until the glue has set. And that one does take a second longer. After they're set, you're going to want to put some clear acrylic underneath the shoe, just around where it touches the nail. This is extremely important because that glue itself isn't going to be strong enough to hold the shoe onto the nail. And so you're going to want to add that on there just so that it holds it. It's going to add so much more strength to it. And this design in general I wouldn't call wearable, just because you got shoes and all these pieces that you've spent so much time on. You don't want them to be smashed or popped off in your daily life. This is something that you might want to put on a shelf more than wear out and about. For a special occasion, if you're careful, that would be okay. And so I'm just going to keep filling in around with the clear, and then on a post-it note I'm going to draw out a star. That's the size for the end of Glinda's wand, and then I'm going to put a nail form backing on top of it, and then put a little bit of white on there and stick a piece of wire into it so that it comes down for the handle of the wand, and then sculpt out my star with white. And I'm going to do each of the points of the star separately so that I make sure that they don't set before I'm ready, and that's going to give you a lot more control that way. And then I'm going to do this point on the top, and then I'm going to do one side then the other side. This is just going to give each point a little section or a little bit of time to set before you start working next to them again, which is just going to hopefully keep you from damaging one that you already have done. And then once you have all of them on there, you're going to want to add more acrylic to the top of your star just to make sure that that gold or that the silver wand is nice and covered up and is going to stay in there really nicely. So just thicken up the star itself. That's also going to give you quite a bit more strength. And when I said before that it would be wearable, that would probably be without this wand. This wand is going to make it a lot more delicate and a lot more prone to catching on things and that sort. And so after you have that set, you can peel it off the backing and then do the same thing. Mix some gel top coat with some white glitter and then apply that to both sides, curing between sides. So paint the top, cure it, and then paint the bottom. And then I'm going to do the same thing to attach it. First glue it into place with some nail glue. And then after that has set, I'm going to take some clear acrylic and just fill in the gaps to make sure that the wand is nice and attached. And you are all set. One thing that you could do with a design like this is put it on a ring. That's also kind of fun. So I hope you like this design, and don't forget to share recreations with me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I would really love to see them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!